Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience, Manifest Your Truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And unfortunately, this is another story about a teacher, a female teacher, with a teenage male student. Actually, an 8th grade male student. Just when you think that you've heard every story or every egregious behavior, here comes another one that outpaces and outdoes the previous storyline or video. And we're seeing a heavy uptick of teachers, female teachers that are having inappropriate relationships with preteen and teenage boys. And where are we headed? We need our teachers to be in a healthy, positive state, because there would be no doctors, football players, judges, lawyers, firemen, police chiefs without teachers. Their most important time for development is in your early childhood, your middle school, your high school development, to prepare you to be a positive, upstanding citizen. But some of our teachers who have multiple responsibilities as mentors, mother and father figures, teachers, social workers, therapists, they have a multitude of roles and are never paid enough. But some of these teachers, I don't know if they're just losing their mind or what is going on, but this is about a 46-year-old teacher, not 26, not 22, and this is straight out of California. So let's go. You're not going to believe this one. California ex-teacher had sex with her student on his 8th grade graduation day, prosecutors say. A former Northern California teacher pleaded no contest to having sex with an 8th grade student on his graduation day in a classroom, prosecutors said. Michelle Christine Solis, 46, pleaded no contest to having unlawful sex with the 14-year-old. According to the Butte County District Attorney's Office, the investigation began after parents learned their children had inappropriate pictures of Solis, a former employee of the Gridley Unified School District. Solis, who had taught for more than 20 years, was teaching the 14-year-old boy in June 2021 when she friended him on Instagram. Here we go with this social media. It can be a gift and a curse. Prosecutors said they began talking online in the weeks leading up to his Sycamore Middle School graduation. Prosecutors said investigators found evidence that Miss Solis sent four explicit pictures of herself and then had sex with him inside a locked classroom on the day of the student's 8th grade graduation. The day of his graduation. Gridley police began examining Solis's conduct after rumors of their relationship began spreading 2 years after the illegal contact. So this happened a few years ago, but now what was left in the dark will eventually come to light. Investigators reached out to the boy and found Solis' explicit pictures and their communications on his phone. She was arrested in November, this past November, and entered her plea on Monday in Butte Superior Court during a preliminary hearing. A charge of distributing harmful material to a 14-year-old boy was dropped as part of her plea deal. Ms. Solis must register as an sex offender as part of her sentence, prosecutors said. Her sentencing is scheduled for June 6, which just happened. She faces up to 4 years in prison. Gridley is a city of 7,200 residents in Butte County between Chico and Yuba City in California. So, there's not much to that story, but there's a whole lot there. And what is going on with our educators today? Is it because of social media? And then look at the entire paper trail, the Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, the back and forth texting. Those are all lines of communication and concrete evidence, along with her sending explicit pictures. This woman is 46 years old. The young man was 14 at the time. I mean, we're talking a 32-year difference. So she can't plead with she felt a familiar relationship with this kid based on age. I mean, she's old enough to at least be his mother and close to being his grandmother. Many of these teachers are married, have children, but for some reason, something either snaps in their brain where they are aligning themselves with underage teenagers and ending up in a chasm of criminality. I don't know what is going on with some of these teachers, but you are seeing a certain and specific stereotype or type of individual that is doing these kinds of sexual misconduct allegations. However, this teacher, and the reason I'm doing this story, she was 46 and then had the nerve to interact with him on his 8th grade graduation day. Now, where was his parents? Normally at graduations, we've all been to them. There are a lot of people around. How in the world was she able to get that kid away from his family, take him into the school, into a locked classroom, and then participate in this kind of unfortunate behavior is beyond me. So in this video, this is all about making sure that we pay attention to our kids, our grandkids, our nieces, our nephews. There's a lot going on with young people today. There's so many external stimuli that's being pushed towards them. This device, which we think is something that should be of the utmost benefit. You can push a button and get any information or anything you want, including from Amazon, within 24 to 48 hours. But information is power. And this device has replaced us as parents. So there are all kinds of things that are taking place. The unfortunate thing is that this device can be used for bad things, like this teacher sending explicit pictures to this young man. But on the other side, from a police standpoint, and finding out if these rumors were correct, you got hard evidence. Why these adults, first of all, are participating in this kind of illegal activity is beyond me. And then secondly, there's an entire paper trail. Now, I'm using the word paper trail loosely because in technology, you don't need it. It's not technically paper, but texting, Snapchat, Instagram has gotten a lot of teachers in a lot of trouble. And we need to address this. We need to vet our teachers as much as we possibly can. There needs to be psychological testing that's done. I don't know what the requirements are for you to be a elementary, high school teacher, but we got a whole chasm of female teachers that are crossing the line into criminality and having personal relationships with preteen and teenage boys. This young man was in the 8th grade. I mean, where mental illness, what she was thinking and how she was thinking she was going to get away with this. And remember, the allegation or the alleged act took place 2 years previous. But here we go. We have hard evidence of explicit pictures. The rumor mill starts. Many of these adults don't realize that teenagers are not going to keep any of this stuff secret. It is going to get exposed. And we're seeing time after time, week after week, where there's one teacher after another teacher that is engaging in inappropriate behavior and getting caught. This has been a major uptick. I'm telling you to pay attention. When you have a safe haven for your children in their homes, when you send them to school, that should be the secondary safe haven. But if those things are taking place, they have to worry about bullying. They have to worry about fighting. They have to worry about learning. They have to worry about paying attention. And now you have a scenario where not only parents, but students have to worry about teachers making sure that they are staying professional and not crossing that line of sexual misconduct, let alone criminality. I don't know what's going on in today's time. Maybe this has always been going on. I've never had that experience with a teacher. I've never heard of a rumor about that. But there is an overpreponderance of inappropriate behavior, dialogue, that is explicit pictures that is taking place with many female teachers, whether they're in their 20s, mid 40s, or what have you, and are crossing that line. Her having to register as a sex offender is going to carry with her for the rest of her life. And things will not be the same for her. And of course, we know for the 8th grader, things will not be the same for him. It always makes it, we always think on the outside that a young teenage boy having a relationship with a woman is not as bad as an adult man with a teenage girl. But psychologically and in those development years, it doesn't make a difference if you are a male or a female. They're still trying to figure things out. And it may seem like it's fun at the time for that 14-year-old boy, but as he goes through his journey in life, he'll realize that that was something that was mentally and physically not a good thing for him. And in his developmental process of trying to establish relationships with young ladies that are his age, it's going to be a little bit tough after you've been with a full-grown woman that was probably older than your mother. So he is going to need all the therapy he can get. It's not any different whether it's a preteen boy or a teenage girl in these situations. They need to have their developmental years to be a process of positivity and not all of this adult stuff going on with them. As a preteen and teenager in school, they should be talking about development and learning, and they have the rest of their lives to be adult and engage in adult activities. In today's time, too many kids want to be adults way sooner than they need to be, and they are participating in adult activities that they shouldn't be participating in, whether it's teenagers that are involved in gun violence, carjacking, any of those negative things. We have to make sure that we let our kids know from 0 to 18 or 0 to 21, you have the rest of your life to be an adult. There's no need to rush it. But also they need to understand that when you make adult decisions and you're an adult, there are adult consequences. And this teacher at 46 is coming to that realization. She was not 16, and her having to register as a sex offender will haunt her forever and be a constant reminder. For the young boy, the young man, or the teenage boy, of course, he is going to go through his developmental years, and he will look back on this as somewhat confusing, and will hopefully realize that that was something that should not have taken place, and his development throughout his journey in life, and especially in his teenage years, should be with other teenagers, whether it's sports, personal activities, video gaming, learning, studying together. Those are things that teenagers should be doing, especially at 14 and 15, and not engaging in inappropriate behaviors with adults, whether it's drinking beer or any of those other kind of adult activities. Let kids be kids and keep them safe. Tell me what you think about this storyline. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.